Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to episode 151, 15-1, whatever, of Friday Night Appointment with Fear. And this week we're reviewing and breaking down The Box from 2009 from Richard Kelly. I think I said David Kelly before, didn't I? I might have even put it in the description. No, I might have. I did put it in the description. I've changed it. I always get Richard Kelly and David Kelly mixed up. Of course, David Kelly was the British scientist who suicided himself. Richard Kelly's the director. Anyway, we're doing The Box, starring James Marsden, Cameron Diaz, and Frank Langella, however you want to pronounce that. Great film. I really do like this film. I think it's almost a masterpiece. I think it's really, really good. Based on the Richard Matheson short story, which you can read on the internet for nothing. It's very short. It's like, I don't know, 8 pages, something like that. I've put the link in the description, which were also made into a new Twilight Zone episode, which is not that good, to be completely honest. That's on YouTube. I've put a link for that in the description. But anyway, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube and Rumble and Twitch. Don't know why I keep doing Twitch. Sorry, my eyes are... I'm really tired again. I think I'm just getting old. I don't know. I'm going to have to start doing these shows earlier. Either earlier in the evening or first thing in the morning. But anyway, it's past my bedtime. Where were we? Explore the description for links for stuff like merch and me books. Oh, put them underneath stuff. Oh, where are we? Just get out of me. I bought a comic the other day. Me books. There they are. On Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. One's a big thick one. One's a little thin one. Priced reasonably, in my opinion, compared to others that you see. Well, me. Oh, crikey. Oh, God, here we go. I've started already. I had some Mexican rice. Or Mexican-style rice. I always blame that, don't I? Anyway, what have I eaten? Anywho, what else? Explore the description for links for all that stuff. And my social medias, blah, blah, blah. What else? I made the websites, I mailed the channels. Become a member, and then you'll get early access videos and exclusive videos. And if you're a subscriber, you can join in the live chat. Like Wingrace, who is speaking Spanish. El Boxo, he says. To which I replied, Le Boite. I remember that from my French lessons at school, which I got a CSE 3. Yeah, CSE 3. But my French teacher were really happy that at least I passed. I'm not good at languages. Anyway, that's by the by. Right, so The Box, as I said, based on a short story by Richard Matheson, written in 1970. I think it was published in like Playboy magazine. But as I said, it is on the internet. We'll go into them. We'll go into the short story and the episode of The Twilight Zone from the 80s and 90s, whatever one it was. Afterwards, but we're going to look at the movie version now. As I said, written for the adapted for the screen, directed by Richard Kelly. We've also done Donnie Darko. What else has he done? He's done some other stuff. Southland Tales, that one, which I have seen, but I wasn't a fan of that. I usually like his films, but I wasn't a fan of Southland Tales. But I like Donnie Darko and The Box. As I said, stars Cameron Diaz, James Marsden, Frank Langella, James Rebhorn, and Holmes Osborne, who's got one of those faces where you think, I've seen him in loads of stuff, and he has been in loads of stuff. But anyway, who's done the music for it? Win Butler, Regine Chassan, Owen Pallett, never heard of them, but it's got a kind of a haunting score to it. At a budget of $30 million, box office of $33.3 million, which means it didn't do well. It lost money, didn't it? But it is a really good film. Is it arty? Is it an art house film? David Kelly's... call him David again. Richard Kelly's films often get accused of being that, but I don't think so. I think it's just a really good sci-fi chiller. Not quite a horror film, but a bit of a chiller / thriller. It is really good, in my opinion. And remember, the basic premise of the story is, well, there's always consequences for what you do, and any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Wingrace, did he do the Donnie Darko sequel? No. Who did the sequel? It was somebody's sister. It might be Richard Kelly's sister. I can't remember. I will have to look that up. I'm sure it was somebody famous' sister. Maybe even Richard Kelly's. I don't know. What was it called now? I can't remember what the Donnie Darko sequel called it. It was some E Darko or something, wasn't it? I'll just type in Donnie Darko sequel. Where are we? I'll just S Darko. That was it. S Darko. Directed by Chris Fisher. Who's somebody's sister in it though? Oh no, it's about Donnie Darko's sister, isn't it? I think. Is it? I've forgotten. I've seen it once, and it was all right. I didn't hate it, but what the hell's Chris Fisher? I don't know. It's related to Carrie Fisher. Don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm getting mixed up as usual. But no, he didn't direct it. It's just based on characters by Richard Kelly. I don't know if he had anything to do with it. He's not even in the producers. But anyway, that was S Darko. Yes. Right, where were we? Right, so we'll get on with it, shall we? We'll get on with it. As I said, I've got the Blu-ray, a working one this time. I don't know what to do with the other one. Is it just broken and won't play for anybody? I'll give it away. I don't know anybody else who's got a Blu-ray player, though. Because my friends and family are all like Luddites. They don't have technology. So I don't know. Maybe, anyway, this works. It's got some good special features on, some nice behind the scenes, and a commentary from the director, which is very interesting. But we'll get on with it, shall we? As usual, not just going to watch the film because YouTube will go mental and just stop the stream, maybe even take my channel down, whatever. But it would definitely stop the stream if we just played the film as is. So we're going to go through it in a series of stills and break down and review it, and I'll give my thoughts on it along the way and try and remember the information I've gleaned about the film from the special features and behind-the-scenes stuff. Right, so I will pop myself down in the corner. I'm sure I forgot something else, but never mind. Right, where do I get my little red lines going? There we go. And I shall pop myself down in the corner. Where is it? Is it that one? And what does that one do? No, that's a different one. That one. Oh, how long have I been doing this? I don't know. Right, off we go. Is it going to come on? There we go, it's coming on now. There we go. Get past all the blooming idents. I don't know how many there is. Oh, not many. Right, we begin with it's supposed to be like a teletype thing. It's set, by the way, it's a period piece. It's set in 1976. So we get, I'll just do all this, right. So we get, it's like a teletype. We can hear it coming out. Internal memorandum to Martin Teague, NSA Deputy Director. We do see him later. Resuscitation of patient Arlington James Stewart confirmed by hospital personnel. Patient was released from burn unit on the morning of July 24th, 1976. To undisclosed location. Patient has constructed a device of unknown purpose. Design specifications confirmed by Mars Project. Patient is delivering the device to private residences. More information forthcoming. So that's basically telling you what's going to happen in the film. We learn Arlington James Stewart is the Frank Langella. I've always pronounced it Langella, whatever. Langella character. Well, I think should have got nominated for an Academy Award for this film. He is quietly... what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know. It's just brilliant, isn't it? Anyway, but it's Frank Langella, so I keep changing my pronunciation. I'm sorry. He plays Arlington James Stewart, who we learn has been struck by lightning in sometime in July. On the special features, there's like a thing called music video prequel, and I thought, is this going to be like a song? I don't know, but it's just a little video, like a 9-minute video on the special features. It's not a music video really. It's just like a prequel thing set to music with these going on, telling us what happened before the film, and that Arlington James Stewart got struck by lightning. So we see the aftermath of that in the film, and he became being struck by. It wasn't just any old lightning, because it happened during a transmission from Mars from the Viking probe. Winger says, "Thunderbolt and lightning." I'm sure it was very, very frightening to him. No Galileo in this though, but it's Viking, that different probe. Received during a transmission from the first transmission from the Viking probe. So, is it connected with that? Not sure. Maybe. They don't say it. By the way, it's very ambiguous what's going on in this. So, an alien entity or entities, whatever, are in contact with Arlington James Stewart. It's not a spoiler, so we're going to get into it in the film. And they've essentially he can take over people's minds, control people with it. I don't know if it's with his mind or with powers or whatever, I don't know, or technology that we don't know about. Remember, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's one of the things in the film. And he can control people's minds, so he gets them to do his bidding. But he can't do it all the time. He can't control them all the time. But some of them he seems to, I don't know. But anyway, so he has them building things for him. The Mars Project, for instance, which is where the James Marsden character works. We see him building things that we see later on in the film. And presume they've also built the box for him, which we see. We see a few of them in the film. But anyway, so he's also, for some reason, I don't know how, he's become really wealthy. He's got these cases with like $1 million in. I think maybe he's got that from the NSA, because he seems to be in control of this area of Langley in Virginia, where the NSA and NASA and the CIA and the FBI, they're all there, aren't they? But he seems to be basically doing whatever he wants, under the influence of this mysterious alien presence, whatever it is. Is it from Mars? Is it from elsewhere? We don't know. But anyway, so that's that. Oh, crikey, that took some doing, didn't it? Right, so we'll begin. Here's Cameron Diaz. She plays, I can't remember the names now, Norma Lewis, and James Marsden is her husband, Arthur Lewis. They're called that in the short story, but they're actually, these characters are more based on Richard Kelly's parents. It is quite autobiographical, actually, because his dad used to work for NASA, his mum was a school teacher, his mum had an accident when she was 7, I think she was 16, in this they say she was 17, where she had an accident with her foot, which we'll get to, and we see that she limps. Anyway, they hear a noise. Here they are, they're in bed. They hear a noise outside. There we go. She says, "I've heard a noise." So, as a good husband would, she goes to see to it. By the way, it's a Christmas film. It's set at Christmas, or in December, middle of December. So they've got all the Christmas stuff up. So we see she comes down the stairs. She's limping a little bit. Look, she walks kind of funny a bit. And we'll learn why. So she goes out and we see there's a box. A box of hang on, where is it? Have I got it here? I don't know if I've got it. Have I got that? The box. Oh no, I haven't got it here. I thought I had the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, but I haven't got it. I do have this one though.
He said it! He said it! He said it!
We'll have to make do with that, won't we? The box on the doorstep. So she takes it in, and they're up now. I don't know what time it is. Maybe it showed it on the clock. I can't remember. But it's early in the morning. So anyway, so they're up. Can we see any clocks to see what time it is? I'm just curious. Anyway, a bit of product placement there for Kellogg's cornflakes. You know what? My son actually prefers the cheapo cornflakes. I've got Kellogg's for him before. That paid like 3 times more than the own brand cornflakes, and my son prefers the own brand ones. He's weird in that way. He always likes the cheaper stuff rather than the expensive things. Weird kid. Anywho, as I said, it's very 70s, 1976, hence the wallpaper. So they're going to have a look what's in the box. There we go, they get it out. And there we go. It's a box with a box in with a dome on with a button inside, and Mr. Seward calls it the button unit, which is what they call it in the short story and the Twilight Zone episode as well. In fact, the one from the Twilight Zone episode looks very much like that, but the buttons are a different design, but the box is pretty much the same, just a different colour. But we'll have a look at that afterwards. Anyway, we see there's a... She opened it yet. There we go. Mr. Seward will call upon you at 5 p.m. in very fancy script. The director said we wanted to make it look like a wedding invitation or something like that, like a formal thing. And that's why they're confused a little bit, because he thinks maybe it's got something to do with Norma's sister's wedding, because she's getting married soon, so they think maybe it's a joke or something to do with that. Apparently Norma's from quite a wealthy family, but they're not particularly wealthy themselves, her and Arthur. But I think her family is well-to-do, but she's doing... Is it her? Yeah. No, she ain't. No. Norma's sister's husband, or fiancé, he might be the wealthy one. They're not from a wealthy family. Anyway... Justin's here, yay, hello all, happy Friday, it is. If I can stay awake. Anywho, so they've just got to wait until 5 p.m. for Mr. Seward to arrive. I'm doing this slowly because we get the opening title, The Box, dun dun dun, and we see it reflected in the glass dome, look. There we go. I'll do that, see if I saw anything else reflected in, but I can't see anything. Right, so they're all getting ready to go. He's going to school. He's Walter. By the way, that's their son, Walter. They've only got one child. We learn later on that all of the... what do they call them now? All of the people that they choose to get the box, they're all couples with one child. But anyway... right, so here we go. She's seeing him off onto the school bus, and he's saying, "Oh, do you have to do this in front of my friends? It's all embarrassing." He says, "Well, yes, of course I do." And she actually goes to their school. It's quite an elite school. It's a Libby Hill Academy, and we learned that he goes there, does Walter, because he's the son of one of the teachers. She's one of the teachers, but they can't afford it. They get what's called a what they call it now. Forgotten. I looked it up as well. It's on my phone. My phone's over there and I can't get it. We'll get to it. They get like a discount. Otherwise they won't be able to afford to send him to this elite school. But they still get a crappy old school bus. But anyway. So off he goes to school, and Arthur's going off to work in his whatever it is. I can't remember. But so anyway. So there they go. They love each other, but they said they hate each other. Oh, there we go. He's got a Corvette. So off he goes. She says, "Are you having a midlife crisis much?" So maybe he's just got it. I don't know. But they're not rich. Maybe Corvettes are cheap. I don't know. Or maybe they were in 1976. By the way, a lot of the establishing shots we see in this are like compositions of CG, old photos, etc., to make it look like 1976, and also to make it look like winter. A lot of CG snow has been added. But anyway, right. So here we go. We see that she teaches English in this class. Not a big class, as I said. It's an elite school, and they're talking about a play called No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. I've never heard of it. I don't know, but they're talking about that, and they're just talking about it. Anyway, see this chap, whose name I can't remember. This student. He asks her about her foot, and anyway, it says, "We've seen you limping. Did something happen to your foot?" And I think something's happening here now to do with this alien intelligence. I don't know. She shows him her foot for some reason. If I were the teacher, I'd said, "No, I'm not going to show you my bloody foot." Because he says, "Can we see your foot?" And he says, "Are you scared?" or whatever. Or, "Are you embarrassed?" And she does. She just like shows him her foot. Which I thought she should have done to sod off, but afterwards she kind of has a quizzical look on her face when the school bell goes, and I'm thinking, was she like compelled to do it because there's like mind control and stuff going on in this? Anyway, she shows her foot. Oh, here we go. This is that bit. Have I missed it? There we go. We see her foot there. Look, just got a little toe left. I won't dwell on it. It's not gory, but it's a bit thingy. But that actually happened to Richard Kelly's own mother when she was, I think, 16. She went to the doctors. And something happened to her foot. She thought they broke her foot. In the film, they say her brother dropped a barbell on her foot, and she thought she broke her toe. So she went to the hospital, and the doctor put her under the X-ray. Then went off to do something. Forgot about her. Don't know how long she was gone, but the X-rays basically destroyed her toes, apart from her little toe. But in this, they suggest it happened at once. But in real life, there's on the Blu-ray, there's like an interview with Richard Kelly's mother. She said it happened over like weeks and weeks. It just hurt a lot for a really long time, and basically it was her toes disintegrating. Anyway, so that happened in real life. So it's based on his mother. And so she looks kind of where is it? There we go. It was kind of as though why did I just do that? That's the impression I get anyway. I feel like they'd be rich from malpractice if that's the case. They do mention it in the film. We'll get to it. I don't know what happened in real life because they didn't say in the behind the scenes, but in the film they do mention it. I'm guessing maybe that's what really happened. But as I said, it's kind of biographical. Anyway, the bell goes, and as usually in American schools, as soon as the bell goes, all the kids go running out. When I were at school, the school bell went, to the end of the lesson or whatever. You didn't move until the teacher told you to. If anybody tried to, the teacher says, you don't go till I say. But anyway, off they go. And there he has a weird look on his face. We see him again, don't worry. We learn, by the way, there are what's called employees knocking about. Anyway, so we cut to, we're at Langley now, at the NASA, whatever, there we go, the HJE Reed, whoever that is, don't know, conference centre. Viking results press conference, December 16th, 1976. So there's a press conference going on. Here we are. Talking about the data that they've got from the Viking lander and the orbiting probes. They don't mention the face on Mars, unfortunately. That fella there, that is Richard Kelly's dad, who actually did work at NASA back in 1976. I don't know if he did the same job as Arthur Lewis. We said that in this, Arthur Lewis worked on the camera, one of the cameras on the Viking lander, the one that took the panoramic images. I don't know if he did that or not. I don't know. Maybe he did. I have no idea. But anyway. So they're at a press conference there, and they're talking about that. They don't mention the face, and they don't mention Gilbert Levin's... I can't remember what they call that one either. I've got it on my phone over there. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to get my phone, just a minute. I had notes ready, and I forgot to pick my bloody phone up, didn't I? Label release, that's it. I've just remembered before... it came on. If I can find the blooming thing. Where are we? Yes, they don't mention the... Oh, come on, phone. My phone is useless. It is. I need a new one. It takes ages. It's the labelled release experiment, which, according to Gilbert Levin, the creator of the experiment, that were put on this, $1 billion space probe, was to find evidence of life. And it did two experiments for the labelled release experiment, and both of them found evidence that there was life in the soil samples that were taken. But they just talk about one of the other experiments on this, which was, I can't remember what that one called, it'll say here, the gas exchange experiment, which didn't find evidence of life. But until his death in 2021, Gilbert Levin stood by the results of the labelled release experiment, saying that there is life in the Martian soil. I think what did it do now? Does it say here? It doesn't describe here what it did, but does it? What is it? The experiment was designed to find life by adding a nutrient-rich carbon-14 labelled food to Mars. I didn't think it did that. I thought the labelled release did something else. Yes. What it did, yes, it added something to the soil, and if something happened, if that were digested, or if it disappeared or whatever, digested, there were life. If there were a reaction to what they put in it, it meant that most likely there were microbes eating this stuff. And then what they did, they got another sample of soil, and I think heated it up to 1,000,000 degrees or whatever. And I'm exaggerating. And then did the same experiment, and obviously if there were any life in there, they'd killed it until nothing had happened, and that it proved that there was something there before they got another sample. But anyway, that's that. That's that. But they don't talk about that here, so I don't know why I went on about it. Faculty tuition discount. That's the thing I was trying to think of earlier on. Right, done with that. Put my phone down. Where were we? Anywho, right, she's a reporter who's kind of, she's onto the to what's going on. She knows something's going on at NASA. Anyway, so he's the head of I don't know. He's the head of the department. I can't remember the name of. He's got one of them. I've seen him in loads of stuff, but I can't remember his name. Never mind. He's Arthur's boss, and that's Richard Kelly's dad there. Anyway, so they're all talking about that. So, there any questions? They say they actually do talk about life on Mars and stuff like that, but we haven't found evidence of it yet. But then she starts asking about why the NSA, why Martin Teague, Deputy Director of the NSA, is here in Langley. We actually do see him. That's him there. But she's saying, why is he there? What's he got to do with the Viking probe and all that? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I will look into it. And then he starts talking to Des Arthur, saying, quite possibly we'll find evidence of life, and maybe that there's water under the surface and all that stuff. That's the camera that he helped develop. And there's a photo that we'll see later on. Oh, you can't see it from my head. Just a minute. Can you still hear me? I hope you can. There's a photo there that we will see later on. I hope I'm back. Am I back? Can you hear me? I'm gonna have to check and make sure that the audio's still on. Is the audio still on? Yes, it is. Right. Because you know what StreamYards is like. Where were we? There you go. I helped design the camera, he says. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the school, I forgot what they called it already, Libby Hall or whatever. This is where we're learning that they're stopping the faculty tuition discount. So it means basically they'll have to take her son out of the school because they won't be able to afford the tuition fees at this elite school because they're not loaded. I say she's a teacher, he works at NASA. He's got enough money to drive a bloody Corvette. Maybe he'll sell that. That'll get his son through, a semester or whatever one of them is. I don't know. We don't have them here. Anyway, so that's what he's telling her. And but as he's telling her, he gets a nosebleed, which is a clue. So he's saying he's sorry and all that, and then obviously he's got a nosebleed. The nosebleed means he's being controlled because they're being set up. Are Norma and Arthur by Mr. Stewart. He's controlling people's minds and getting them to say what he wants them to say and do what he wants them to do. And they're all in on it. It all seems very elaborate, to be completely honest, but you just go with it. So he's got a nosebleed. Anyway, here we see her going down the corridor, limping away. Look, we see she's got a limp because of her manky foot. See, Wingrace is saying a semester is just half a year. The school year is split by 2, and the Christmas break splits them. Yeah, I don't know. We just have terms in the UK. Half term, and like a term. You have like between Christmas and Easter. Is that right? Is a term? No, that's not right, is it? Christmas and they're like 3-month terms, I think, or thereabouts. Christmas and something like February. Was that half term in February? I don't know. It's that long since I've been to school. It's probably changed now anyway. Whatever. But I just know when the kids are off school, shopping is a nightmare at the supermarket because all the parents have got to take the kids shopping, haven't they? They always seem to go when I go. Anyway, there we go. They're asking, why does your mum limp? And he's saying it's none of your business. Anyway, so she's also, because she's the English teacher, or one of them, she's also helping out with the school play, which is the No Exit play. And also, that's supposed to be, they're using No Exit, I think, because of the title, meaning there's no way out for him. I think that's what they're using that for. We do see that title again. They don't pay any attention to it. It's scrawled on his windscreen, and no, they don't pay any attention to it. There she's talking about, he's got to take the son out of school. Meanwhile, here they are at Langley. That's Arthur with his friend. Don't ask me his name. I don't know any of the names. Be there driving through this is the Mars project. It's like a research thing. It's actually filmed in I think they said in like an old like laboratory somewhere. I think it was mostly filmed in Boston. Some of it were filmed actually in Langley, the NASA places, the NASA Langley Research Centre and that. But I think most of it were actually filmed in like Boston, the Boston area. So I'm just looking just to see if it tells us. But I think this here, it doesn't say here, but this was like a disused, like a big industrial laboratory sort. That's why it's so massive. So they used that and they turned it into the NASA Mars Project labs. But in the background you can see things that we'll see later on, but not quite yet. Anyway, so off they go through here. We do see something in a bit that we do see later on. So we see them all working away on the stuff. It's like Q's lab and James Bond. I don't want to miss it. And there we see there's photos of Mars. Is there anything hidden? I'll look at the photos. See if there's any images of the face on Mars or anything like that. They can't see anything, can you? So they put any Easter eggs in. Langley Research Centre. Oh, what's that there? No. Anyway, never mind. Right. So she's at home, obviously feeling a bit sad. It's Christmas, got a Christmas tree up, she's watching telly. And here comes, it must be 5 o'clock. Mr. Seward has arrived, and you'll see there's something wrong with his face. Sorry, I were watching. It were on. What was it on now? It were on one of the Sky channels, I think. Thunderbirds Are Go. We've covered it. I think we've done it on Magnificent Mondays from 1966 or whatever, where Scott Tracy says there's something wrong with your face, and he pulls off the mask of the hood. And it's the hood in disguise. Anyway, do something like there's something wrong with his face. There we go. See, half of it's missing. Oh, no. Because he got struck by lightning in the face, apparently. CG, by the way, is that Frank Langella had a green thing on the side of his face, and they put like tracking dots all over his head. And CG'd his destroyed face. And obviously, she's shocked about it. But we'd learn later on that she don't feel pity for him, she feels love and all that, because it reminds her that maybe she's not that bad off after all, because she's got a disfigurement, he's got a disfigurement, his is there for the world to see. She can hide hers to some degree, and that rhymes. Anyway, so he says, hello, I'm Frank Langella, I have a silky smooth voice, may I come in? Anyway, listen to it. It's got an amazing voice, and it's Frank Langella.
My appearance frighten you. I assure you I'm not a monster.
I'd invite him in. Hey, still more face than in Masters of the Universe. That's true. He had that one of his favourite films, apparently, wasn't it, that he's worked on. He had a great time working on that, even though it's not very good. But he was good in it, wasn't he? Anyway, so here he comes. So in he goes. She lets him in. And he tells her all about the box. The button unit. Says, he's got a key. Key opens it up. And says, if you push the button, 2 things will happen. First, someone, somewhere in the world, whom you do not know will die. Oh, crikey. Second, you'll be paid $1 million in cash, tax-free. There you go, tax-free. In the original story, it was, I think, $20,000 or $50,000. Might have been 50. Can't remember. We'll get to it later. And in the Twilight Zone episode, it was 200,000. So over the years, the number's gone up. Now $1 million. But that's, there you go. He's showing her, just as you see here, a suitcase with lots of money in it. There we go. $100 bills. Oh, pardon me. And there's a good faith. There we go. I present to you this crisp $100 bill as a gift and a thank you for welcoming me into your home. So there we go. So they make $100 either way. Because I can keep this even if I say no. Yes, you can, he says. He says, who do you work for? He says, well, that's one of the... I forgot the conditions, there we go. The conditions, the 3 restrictions. Guarantee of payment comes with 3 restrictions. The conditions, I suppose you could say, is that one is not allowed to say who he works for. You know, the aliens that we never see. She's not allowed to talk about it to anybody else, apart from her husband and her son, who's there. But he don't mention him, but anyway. And thirdly, they have 24 hours to decide whether to press the button or not. They'll be back at 5 p.m. tomorrow to collect the button unit, and it will be reprogrammed, and they will offer it to somebody else. So there we go. I shall return and retrieve the button unit where it shall be reprogrammed, and we shall make the offer to somebody else. I don't know if it says someone. I think it's later on. Yeah, it's later on. It says the offer will be made to someone you don't know. That's another big thing about this film. Someone somewhere in the world whom you don't know will die. And then the box goes to someone else who they don't know. Make of that what you will. They do actually cover it in the dialogue. Is that a control person that we see in there? I think it is, isn't it? So as I said, it's all about mind control. We see Sunday standing there looking a bit mind controlled. Staring into the mirror. Anywho, here's Arthur at his lab desk, whatever. And what he's doing is making a prosthetic for Norma. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but he's doing a thing for her to, slip it in a shoe so she can walk. He's hoping she can take up jogging again. But anyway. In the background, we see something that we'll see later on. Where do we see it? I'm sure it's this part. So they're describing here what happened to her with the x-rays and all that. I don't want to miss the thing in the background because we do see it later. Is it there? Yes, it's there in the background. Because these here, you can just make them out. Do we get a better view? So let me check. That's him making that thingamabob. Come on, show us the background again. Blooming live telly, eh, kids? Are we going to get a better view? I'm sure we get a better view. Anyway, you can see these like these tray things there. We see them later on. This is some of the machinery that is being made for Mr. Stewart. So anyway, yeah, we'll see later. Anyway, so they're explaining that. Anyway, his boss arrives with a letter. Kind of a bit like Independence Day, this. Because apparently he's applied to join the astronaut corps. They've got a letter from the astronaut corps. I don't like this bit. Are we coming up? Hang on, we haven't done it yet. This has arrived from the astronaut corps. And it gets me angry because he just snatches it out of his hand. I would always taught, never snatch things. Come on, is he going to do it? Oh, just snatches it out. Gets me angry. Just take it. You don't need to snatch it. They're always snatching things in films. Is that because actors and filmmakers are like impatient people? They've got to snatch things. Don't know. Just take it. Anyway, that's by the by. He gets rejected. He's been rejected from the astronaut corps, much like Will Smith in Independence Day. But, so there we go. Let's have a read. I didn't get a chance to read it before, so let's have a look. Dear Mr. Arthur Lewis, December 13th, 1976. This letter, moving might as well, because I've got to get a bit closer, is to inform you of the recruitment results of the Space Shuttle project. We regret to inform you that you did not fit into the final selection group. We send our sincere gratitude to you for having participated. You were part of the finest group of people applying. The final selection was most difficult because of the high calibre of candidates. Our selection process was influenced by aliens, we learned, but anyway, by the desire to have a variety of technical expertise and backgrounds for the final group. There is no current plan to increase the number of the final group. All records will be kept on file for future consideration should circumstances warrant. All applicant names are kept in strict confidence as the addressers of this letter. As the addressee of this letter was, you are reminded of certain confidential aspects of the project which you are to refrain from discussing with others. George R. Gulick, Assistant Project Director. Oh, right. Well, that's from the astronaut corps. Sounds a bit sinister, didn't it? But anyway. So, they're all smiling, and he's saying, they've rejected me. So they're like, hey, what? So obviously they're surprised. He's surprised as his boss. They're not under the control yet of these immediate superiors yet. So they go up to the office and they get this fella, whose name I've forgotten, but he does actually work there. He's not an actor. Oh, well, he is because he's acting in this, but he actually works there. I forgot his name. I have to look him up. I'll know his name when I see it. It's down here somewhere. It'll Gentry Lee. There we go. He plays the chief engineer. It's called Gentry Lee, and he does actually work at NASA at Langley. I think he did actually work on the Viking project. Anyway, he's playing the chief engineer here. He's on the blower to the people at the astronaut corps, asking, why Arthur Lewis has been, rejected to be an astronaut, and they say he failed the psychological exam. He probably didn't. He probably passed it with flying colours, but Mr. Stewart is piling on the pressure on the family, isn't he? So they think, it's like Job, isn't it, where God just piles on the pressure on Job and all that stuff, and they're piling the pressure on to get them to see if they will push the button, for $1 million. Nice product placement for Coca-Cola. So that's what they tell him. He says, that's rubbish. I aced every test. But anyway. So they're all sorry. So they say, well, you've got a job here. He said, well, I don't stay for the rest of my life. And so I'm sod off, then go work somewhere else. And they said, we just got to develop optics for the new planetary camera system. So, he's got a good job there, hasn't he? I'd rather work there than sit on top of a rocket, to be honest. Anyway, so he goes home. He's a bit fed up. There it is. Apparently she got a letter as well, because we see her walking through. They've delivered the letter to home as well. So she knows now, because she obviously opens his mail for him. So they're all sad. I don't know if she tells him about the son not being able to go to that school anymore. I don't know if they ever have that conversation. Maybe it was in a deleted scene, I don't know. But it's never brought up again, as far as I can remember. So anyway, they're looking at this box and he's wondering, what should we do? He says it's obviously a load of nonsense. It must be some sort of scam, which you would think that, wouldn't you? And they were saying, did he say how they would die? No, so it's someone we don't know. It could be somebody that lives. I think in the short story they do say it could be some peasant in China or somebody dying of cancer in the Congo or something like that. And then in the short story, he does say it could be. A newborn baby or a kid, a child 2 streets away that we don't know. So, they don't know, do they? Consequences, that's what it's all about. Anyway, Right, so anyway, they've got to go out. They've got to go and watch the play, apparently, because that's what she says. We'll be late for the play, so they've got to go out. So they've got a babysitter in who's called Dana, except she's not called Dana. Turns out she's one of Steward's employees. But anyway, they're playing Monopoly, and for some reason they've got a jar of peanut butter, which I guess they're just eating out of the jar because there's a spoon in it. But the director of photography, whose name I can't remember, they kept moving it or something, kept removing it from the scene, the reverse scene. So we see it here, and when they were shot it from the other way around, the director, Richard Kelly, was saying, you forgot to put the peanut butter jar in. He says, oh, no, it doesn't matter. Nobody will, it doesn't matter, the director of photography was saying. Richard Kelly was saying, obviously it did matter, because they ended up having to put the peanut butter jar in digitally for the reverse shots. Like that. That's a digital peanut butter jar. I wonder how much that cost. Because the director of photography said, oh, you won't notice it. But they did. Anywho, so they're playing Monopoly. Right, so they're going out. And he's asking about, the button, saying, don't matter, never mind. Off they go to the Performing Arts Centre. And there we see Santa Claus ringing his bell like a zombie, look. Santa Claus. We see him again later. Turns out he's an employee. Are the carol singers? I don't know. But there you go. They're going to see the Libby Hill Academy production of No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. So there we go. We don't see much of it. There we go. That's about it. And then at the celebration afterwards. So it's obviously they're still talking about it between themselves, and they're sceptical and all that stuff. We can't tell anyone, she says. So back at home, he's having a look. He's an engineer, so he's anodized aluminum. I think he means aluminium. Hand blown glass. How do you know that? Is there a way to tell? I have no idea, but he says that. What else does he say? Does he say anything else? No. It looks expensive. He actually takes it apart. I think he does. Does he do it now? Yes, he takes it apart now. Opens it up. We see that there's nothing inside. So he said, how will he know if we've pressed the button? There's nothing in. There's no circuitry or anything. There's nothing. It doesn't actually show us. Oh, it does. I didn't think it did. But we see there's nothing inside apart from the underside of the button unit. So maybe it's all in there. But remember, this is 1976, so the technology of that time would be, a big blooming, a big circuit board or something, wouldn't it? But there's nothing in apart from the underside of the button unit. So anyway, so he puts it back together because he's going to come back for it. He's Mr. Steward, and they've still got time. They're still thinking about it. Are they going to press the button? Obviously, yes, they are. He's laid in bed. What's she talking about there? I can't remember this bit. What are you thinking? Dr. Kirby is weird. I can't remember this bit. I've watched this film twice. I don't know what she's talking about. I genuinely don't know what she's talking about. Who was standing about naked? I have no idea. How weird. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I don't know what you're on about there. I genuinely don't remember that bit. They're talking about, are they going to press the button? They've still got it there. Look, they've still got it there. But anyway, so Doc Powell's gonna ask who pushed the button and who. Oh, the hell's Doc Powell? I'm all confused here now. Oh, aye, that's it. Yes, I do remember now. Yes, I remember now. He's thinking it's a joke. Somebody, a member of, Norma's family or whatever, is or their friends that are going to the wedding of Norma's sister. Think it's a joke, and they're all going to find out who pushed the button and make a big joke about it. That's what he's on about. So right, there we go. That's what. So he locks it up. There we go. This is him locking it away. Look, she is. Right. So this is the what they call it. That thing. track thing for testing tyres for the space shuttle. There we go. Apparently tyres for the space shuttle, which wouldn't fly properly, into space until 1981. I remember it being on telly. I remember it being live on telly, the first launch of the space shuttle, Columbia. Anyway. Right, so we see this fella who is called Cairns, and I can't remember his full name. Jeffrey Cairns, who also works at NASA, but Arthur doesn't know him. He's getting a phone call. His daughter's been abducted. They put her in the back of a van and drove off. We learn later on he is another candidate. I think they call them candidates. His family, him and his wife, have been, given the option of pressing the button. They've had a button unit. So this is showing what happens when things go wrong, or as the experiment, because that's what it is. It's an experiment. As the experiment progresses, here we see, what they call it, like a special forces fella or whatever they call them, another employee taking photos of Jeffrey Cairns driving away. Right, so here it is getting ready for getting Norma's thing ready for what I don't know what he's going to do, but it's for a foot to make her better. I don't know, but so he's learning. He did a test on the $100 bill, and it's a real one because he didn't think it was going to be a real $100 bill, and it is real. So I was wondering, right? Apparently it's about 4:45 p.m. now, ish. They've got until 5 o'clock to decide. And so they're all like, oh, what we're going to do? And she thinks, right, sod it, I'm just going to press it. And she just presses it. Is it this bit where she presses it? She just does it quickly. There we go, without thinking. She just does it, presses the button. It's a button. What could happen? What could go wrong? Everything, apparently. So she pressed the button and goes, see, nothing happens. It's just a box. And then the button sort of like comes back up slowly. There we go, like that. And then we cut to the police, the emergency service, whatever, line, 911 centre. That somebody's being shot. Or somebody's reporting gunshots. We heard a gunshot. So then we're going to cut to, here we are, this is Richmond, by the way, Richmond, Virginia. Police cars arriving through the CG, it's all CG snow, by the way, arriving. The police go in, and they go to find a woman dead, gunshot through the heart, single bullet wound. Apparently, whoever did it has driven off with a suitcase or a briefcase. Has driven off, and he will learn that there's a girl locked in the bathroom. So they kick the door down. They go to see a little girl just sitting there, terrified. So like, crikey, what's happened here? So that's another mystery. Turns out it was Jeffrey Cairns that shot his wife. Must have taken the $1 million or whatever, I don't know. He wasn't supposed to do that. He's not supposed to run. But anyway, he has done. Right, so it's 5 o'clock. He's back. He knows they've pressed the button. How do you know? No, I just do. So he leaves the money. There we go. $1 million. Tax-free. He'll take the box. So I believe there was a key. So he gives him the key back. And he says, the box will be reprogrammed, and I can promise you that the offer will be made to someone you don't know. Dun, dun, dun. Should play that really dramatic music at that bit, shouldn't they? Someone you don't know. And they actually do realise, they think, hang on, does that mean we're next? They just say that in a minute. He goes back out to his car, and does he say that now? Is it afterwards? It might be afterwards. He says, no, we're not doing this. He takes the money and he goes back out, and he says, I don't want it. Take it. We're not participating. He says, I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis, you've pushed the button. There's nothing I can do. The button has been pushed. So off he goes, drives away. But in his Electra, whatever, I have no idea. But you can tell he's going to be an astronaut because he's not a thickie like me, because he remembers the number plate. I wouldn't be able to remember that. XH34568. I genuinely would not be able to remember that. But he gets the license plate, so he writes it down, look. I'd have forgot instantly. I'd have remembered XH, maybe 38. I wouldn't have remembered the other part. I'd have probably written down, KV22 or something, knowing me. But there we go. She says, someone we don't know, and then he says, does that mean we're next? So obviously they're thinking like we would be thinking as we're watching it, with the clues at hand. So, I did actually like that. A nice bit of script writing where the characters realise the stakes of what's going on or what might happen. It'll go to someone we don't know. So does that mean we could be next? We could die. We could be the people that die when they press the button. Turns out that is what's happening. Anyway, what's happening? Is the son? Yes, there's the son coming home from school. He's locking the money in the safe. Not today. That's Norma's telling Walter not to go downstairs today. Because in the basement, by the way, he's got all his Mars stuff. We're going to see that in a bit. What's she saying now? Got ourselves another domestic homicide. All right, so yeah. So this is where we learn now that Norma's dad is a detective for the police force. For police squad. This is, I forgot his name now already. Him that you've seen in loads of stuff. Holmes Osborne. Cool name. But that's him there. He's Norma's dad. And he's also the one on the case for the Diane Cairns murder. 31 years old. Gunshot wound to the chest. There they are. Handing over the stuff. There he is. We've seen him in loads of stuff, haven't we? I think he's been in Star Trek and the X-Files. He's been in all sorts of stuff. And films and all that. One of those faces, hasn't he? Anywho, here he is. He's getting ready for bed. He's sitting on the bed and he's going to give her the gift, the Christmas present, I suppose you could say. Does she just put it in a shoe? I think she does. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, so here she is, look, opening it up. Very nice, yes. It's I mean, it's not exactly high tech, is it? It's just taking a mould of her foot or whatever, and I don't know how it's supposed to work, but she doesn't walk with a limp after this. So there we go. Look, she's all not limping because it works perfectly. Anyway, so they're going out now. I think it's the wedding rehearsal or something like that. They're going out again. Do we see Dana again, the babysitter? Maybe in a bit. So here they are. They're coming to the. I think it's the wedding rehearsal or something. So here they are. They're arriving. What is it? Yes, rehearsal, dinner, reception. Tell them they must be rich. Oh dear. When I got married, I think we just got married at the registry office, paid the whatever it was, 40 quid or whatever, and my family, my brothers and sisters and my mum and stepdad paid for the reception at what do they call it now? St Paulinus Parochial Hall. Sandwiches and stuff. Anyway, that were a long time ago. Didn't have rehearsals, we just got on with it. Anyway, right, so, and apparently a lot of these characters that we see walking about, particularly the waiters and all that stuff, we're going to see again, they are employees of Mr. Stewart. That's according to the Richard Kelly, the director, in the behind the scene, in the commentary. I don't remember seeing him again, but apparently we do. But I think this fella actually might be one of the special forces chaps we see, but I could be wrong. He looks like one, doesn't he? Apart from the hair. Anyway, so this is a sister who's very nice. Looks a little bit like I forgot her name now. Valeris from Star Trek 6. Looks a bit like her, doesn't she? A bit. What's her name now? Windgrace will tell me in a minute if he's listening. Anyway, so there they are. There we go. They're saying, look at the way she walks. You float. She's not limping. Look. So They're all nice. It was a lovely thing. These are Norma's parents, Lana and Mr. Thingy. I forgot his name. Right, so we're going to get a drink. Here we go. They're having. They're doing the dinner. I think these may be Norma's sisters. Kim Cattrall. Yes, thank you. He never tells me. With Grace, he always gives me clues. I'm sure he's a teacher. Where were we? I think these are Norma's sisters, fiancés, husband to be. I think they're his family. Are they controlled? I don't know. She looks like she is because she's glaring at Arthur and Norma. I don't know. Or maybe she's just senses. Maybe she's an old woman that senses something as a miss. I don't know, but she's glowering at them. But anyway, friends of the bride and groom have very generously donated this array of gifts. So everybody there is going to get a gift. So she's staring at him. They're all going to get a gift. And so first up, it's Arthur. So he doesn't know which one to pick. There's all these lovely wrapped ones and then the plain box there. But then he looks over and we see the kid from the class, that asked Norma to take her to show him her foot. We're going to see him. There we'll see him there in the background. Look, I have to see him there. Look, I'm pointing there. Just putting his hand up, and he does the 2. Is it a peace sign, or does it mean number 2? That's an important number we get to later. So I don't know what significance 2 has. I don't know, but he picks this one. So he remembers 2 for later, but I don't know if it has any relevance to this box. Does it have a number 2 on? I have no idea, but he picks this plain one anyway. And it apparently is the box he should have picked, unless every box has got the same thing in it. I don't know. But he opens it up, and I'll say, "What's in it?" And it's a photo. There we go. It's just a photo of Mr. Stewart, face intact, but in kind of a blur, as though it's taken from another photo. Like an enlargement from another photo. As I said, we've seen this before, and we will see it again. But it says it's a joke. It's obviously some sort of joke, and he won't tell them what it is because they're not allowed to speak about it. Anyway, here we are. So here's Dana looking after Walter, looking at astounding science fiction. Apparently, this is Arthur's collection. He likes astounding science fiction. Cool stuff. Richard Matheson, I'm sure, has had many stories published in astounding science fiction. But my dad collects comics. But anyway, as he's talking, we see a figure walk behind him. Look, there we go. Just stands by the window. She notices, obviously. Doesn't hide her shock. She's got one of those faces as well. I'm sure I've seen her in something else. I'm going to have to look her up now. Dana. Right, Dana, where are you? Dana. Where the hell is she? Where is she? Oh, there she is. Gillian Jacobs. What's Gillian Jacobs? She's got one of those faces. I've seen her in something. Oh, blimey. Nothing I've seen, to be completely honest. Nothing I've seen so far. Oh, Fear Street. She was in the Fear Street series that were on Netflix. So that's probably what I've seen her in. Well, it definitely is, because I saw all 3 of those. Well, I've seen the latest one as well. Yeah, that's probably it. Oh, she did a voice in Star Trek Lower Decks. She was the voice of Lieutenant Barbara Brinson, Wingrace. There you go. Yeah, it'll be that Fear Street I recognise her from. I knew I'd seen her in something. She looked familiar. She was the main woman that I've never seen Community. Is that one with Chris Pratt in it? Is it? I've never seen it. I don't even know if it's shown over it. I imagine it's on one of the streaming services, but I've never seen it. Anywho, so there's a fella standing there. We never see who it is. I can imagine who it is because we see somebody else later, and I think it's maybe the same person. But she says, he mentions his dad's got some Mars stuff in the basement, so they go and check. And this is where we see the photo in a minute. We'll see some photos of Mars things. They'll go Viking and all that. And Carl Sagan there with the lander on Mars, because Carl Sagan went with it. No, Community is made by the Rick and Morty guy. Oh. What was the Chris Pratt thing then? Whatever. Viking 1 lands. It's going to show the photo. There we go. And you see the photo. This was a test of the panoramic camera. It takes images in slices. Parks and Rec, that's what it is. Parks and Rec, yes. Not seen that either. Anyway, so we see he's there. This is the actual photo, by the way, of the test of the Viking camera, panoramic camera, but with added Frank Langella. And apparently, I don't know which ones they are. Apparently, there's 5 versions of the same man in it, because it does a scan of the camera, and it's like 5 minutes to do the full panoramic scan. And some joker. It might be these here, to be honest. I don't know. At the front, kept moving, so they're in it 5 times. But anyway, so there we go. That's that. And here we're going to have the quote from the film. Hang on, is it in this bit? Or is it? It might be a bit later. What's happening now? What's she talking to him for? Don't think we should say anything to her dad about the button unit. I think. Oh, here we go. Still in the basement. Here we go. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke, he did say that apparently. With a painting. Apparently it's a famous painting, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it says in the IMDb trivia. I'll have to do a Control F and type painting. Control F, painting. No. I'll type in Control F, magic. No, never mind. I thought it might tell us what that painting is. It does tell us in the commentary, but I forgot. Because I'm stupid. Anywho, never mind. Right, so, yeah. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's the famous quote. It says his dad knows Arthur C. Clarke. Maybe he does, I don't know. But, right, so, what's he got there? He's got a letter. What's he got a letter for? I don't know. What is it? Oh, it's the photo he's looking at. The photo of Stewart, isn't it? He's looking at. So, anyway, Norma's mum comes up to him and says, "Oh, what a lovely thing you do." So, I don't know what she'd do without you. And he says, "I don't know what I'd do without her," which is a nice little moment to have a hug. And he sees her dancing to a song. I can't remember what song it was. But Richard Kelly said to Cameron Diaz, "Do you know this song? Go and get it." I don't know, but 2009 was Spotify a thing? I don't know, but anyway, get it. Listen to it, learn it, because you're going to be dancing and singing it in a scene soon. Anyway, or as Futurama says Wheaton Grace, any significantly advanced magic is indistinguishable from technology. Is that what they said? I don't know. Futurama, one of those series that, whenever I watched it, I really liked it, but I've not seen that much of it. It's one of those things that kind of passed me by for some weird reason. I've never got around to watching it all. Speaking of Star Trek and not Futurama, I tried watching Star Trek Picard Season 3 today. I thought I'll watch it again from the beginning. I know I'm supposed to be watching Star Trek Voyager. But I thought I'll watch Star Trek Picard Season 3. Put it on. I probably lasted a couple of minutes. I don't know. Just the bit where, at the beginning, where Dr. Crusher on her ship gets attacked by the bad guys. And she just sacrifices her crew to them. And I thought, sod this, it's crap. I turned it off. Anyway, new season just came out this week. What Futurama? Okay, I've only got like a million seasons to catch up. It's like with The Simpsons, isn't it? Anyway, she's dancing away. And he's thinking, I love her. Look, I love her to bits. They're madly in love. He's asking Norma's dad if he can run that license plate for him to find out who it is. A black sedan. Meanwhile, creepy schoolboy is watching. Right, more employees just standing about watching. She's one of the teachers, isn't she? She was the one that she was talking to at the play rehearsal, wasn't she? Oh, pardon me. And she's telling him, she probably had a bit to drink, so she's just blurting stuff out. Saying that he humiliated her in front of the class. She didn't have to take a bloody sock off, did she? But anyway. So he gets angry in a bit. Meanwhile, she encounters this chap. I've no idea who he is. Is he one of the employees? And what does she ask? She asks him something. I can't remember what. Does she? That were it. No, he'd come to find her to say she had a phone call. That were it. So he's taking her to the telephone, and then he gets a nosebleed. So he's obviously being controlled, mind controlled, and so he says, "Oh yes, you've got a phone call right there." There goes he pointing, and it's Mr. Stewart, and he knows that what's his face? Her husband Arthur has spoken to her father. So it's just basically giving her a warning. If you didn't, I have to check then. It just came on the screen there saying camera off. Am I still on? Yes, I am. I hope I am. If you didn't want to get anyone hurt, you shouldn't have pushed the button. It's got a great voice. I'm going to play it, actually. I'm going to play it.
Didn't want anyone to get hurt. You shouldn't have pushed the button.
We don't want any more.
It's one of my favourite actors. I love Frank Langella. He's great. Oh, stop playing. I'm afraid trouble has found you, Mrs. Lewis. And we see that he's sitting in... is it going to show us? It might show us afterwards. He's actually sitting in the wind tunnel at Langley. That's where his HQ is. So with the test... See, it's a test. Or an experiment. Will continue until the button unit is reprogrammed. So, there we go. Anyway, so he's looking creepily. I think he's being mind controlled now. I don't know how Mr. Stewart does it. I don't know. As I said, is it alien technology? Is it supernatural? In the commentary, Richard Kelly does keep using the word supernatural things going on, which could be, but who knows? Wow, Stream Boo's here, yay! Over on Twitch. The only reason I do Twitch so I can get Stream Boo chats. What the hell is Stream Boo? No idea. Anyway, so he goes over, he starts laughing kind of maniacally, and so he goes and grabs him. She's watching, look. He's old biddy. So drags him outside, says, "Do you think it's funny making fun of someone's disfigurement?" And he's laughing away, and he goes, "No, it's tragic." And then the kid's nose starts bleeding. There we go. And he kind of comes out of his trance, whatever you want to say. Kind of looks a bit shaken up. But anyway. So they say, "You okay, son?" Anyway, so they bring his car around, and we see that somebody's written on "no exit" on the outside of the windscreen. Apparently Richard Kelly wrote that. Apparently, but nobody mentions it. I don't know why. Nobody said who's written that on my windscreen. I don't know, and why? It's obviously because there's no way out for him. He uses the wipers and it's gone. So off they go, and let me say as they're driving away, we see another one to 2, which we'll get to later. More 2, actually. That's a lot of 2 symbolism in there. I've just noticed the 2 pillars on either side. He's going 2. It's to do with the choices to make later on. The Twin Towers, because it's 1976. It's the bicentennial of your fair country over the pond. From when you decided you didn't want us to look after you anymore, you went your own way. I suppose we have to let you, didn't we? But anyway. Right, so they've come back home. We see that Dana's asleep. So is Walter. I didn't notice him there before because he kind of blends in with the settee, doesn't he? Couch, sofa, whatever you want to call it. Does she sit on him then? Because she goes and sits down. Does he get up? I don't know. I'm curious. Wait, so Dana, we're back. Oh no, she just sits next to him. She crushes him. It's cause and effect. He's telling him the number of pips to choose. I was promoted to captain on Ghosts of Tsushima today. You get these little pips, for your I forgot what they call it. It's like a health thing or XP or whatever. And I've got four pips now that look like Captain Pips. Anyway, yes, cause and effect. A great episode, by the way. One of my favourites of TNG. Anywho, but it were 3 pips, wasn't it? Right, so she pays her, and she's no way to get home. Didn't you think of that before she took the gig? But anyway, Arthur can take you. Did he take her home previously? Obviously not, because she's babysat before, hasn't she? She must have had a lift the other time. But anyway, so he takes her home. We learn that she's living in a motel. Off I-95, the Galaxy Motor Lodge, which is important to the plot. I don't know if she's actually living there. More footage of Richmond. She's saying things. She's being controlled now. And she's saying things. She says, "You've got blood on your hands," because she looks over at his knuckles. Where is it? It's going to show it. There we go. I don't know how we got that. I don't... he's got bloody knuckles, but he didn't hit that kid, did he? Unless he just scraped him when he grabbed him. I don't know, because he wasn't fighting him. But he said, "You've got blood on your hands." He said, "Your knuckles, you've got blood on them." And he said, "Oh yeah, I got into a fight and ruined the whole party for everybody." I thought, no, he didn't. He just grabbed one of the waiters and just shouted at him a bit. He didn't ruin it for anybody, did he? Anyway, I've done worse things at parties. I can tell you that for notes. I've just embarrassed myself more than other people. Anyway, and then she goes saying, "Did he push your buttons?" Oh, why did you say that? It's just an expression. Anyway. Oh, by the way, he's asking, "Why are you living in a motel?" He says, "Oh, my parents have bought a new house and it's not quite ready yet." And and she also mentions, says, "What can I do?" Because they're just chit-chatting. But she's acting kind of weird. She's kind of spaced out. And she's saying, look in the reflection, or look to the light, and all that stuff. But and then her nose starts bleeding. I think. Does it? Yes, her nose starts bleeding, and then she kind of passes out. And we learn later on that Seward's the doctor from Dracula, isn't it? Steward. Because he's kind of the steward, isn't he? We learn, I suppose, of the human race, maybe. But he's the steward for the alien intelligence that's controlling him, or he's in communication with. But he can only control people's minds for so long, and then they start having hemorrhages, frontal lobe hemorrhages, I think we're told later on. So he's not infallible. And Richard Kelly says, although he's got all these powers and stuff to control people and do all this, set up all this amazing infrastructure he's got, dishing out millions of dollars and stuff, he's not infallible, and he could actually just kill him and shoot him, and it'd probably be over, or it'd set him back a while, this alien intelligence and their experiments. But anyway, he takes her to the motel, and luckily she wakes up. He's like, "Oh crikey, what's happening?" And he goes through a bag, finds her driving licence, and we learn she's not called Dana at all, and she's actually from Boston. She's called Sarah Matthews. There we go. Anyway, suddenly she wakes up, and we get a jump scare. Any minute now. That's what jump scares do. There we go. There. I told you it was a horror film. And I think she says something to him like, "Look in the mirror," or something. There we go. The only way you can save yourself, look in the mirror. I don't know what that means. He doesn't look in any mirrors, but he does see his reflection. Later. Anyway, she gets out, runs in, goes in. I presume he drives off, and then we see, I think everybody in this motel, because we do see him again later, we do return to this motel. Everybody is an employee. They're all under mind control, because she's she's heading through the corridors of the motel, and everybody's coming out of their rooms. Look, everybody's coming out. There we go. Everybody's coming out of their rooms and watching them. This fella, we see this fella a few times. There's another fella as well. Do we see him? There's another fella who looks like, I don't know, Stephen King's weird twin, younger twin. We see him later. We see him in the library later, but I thought we saw him here as well. Anyway, look, she's gone to her room and she's got all big maps and stuff with things. But anyway, whatever. So there we go. We're seeing that. Like I said, they're in Richmond and there's a line going down to. Is it going to show it? Any minute. There we go. Going down to Langley or wherever, where he works. Apparently a 45-minute drive, a commute, whatever. See, she's got photos of them, look. Right, so anyway, they're all standing by the pool, look, that's blocked off with silver paper, quasi-futuristic silver paper, and the pool's all going bubbling like that, in a CG way. So, do things with water. Is it a wormhole of some sort? Right, so anyway, what they got to decide to do. He's got a card, I don't know what the card. Oh, yes, he's telling her about, she passed out, a nosebleed, she passed out, and then I went in the bag, found out she's not called Dana at all, she's from Boston. What are we going to do? Anyway, so obviously they can't sleep. He's often seems to spend the night staring at his ceiling for some reason. Anyway, he gets an idea. I think he's looking into the light. Was that the clue? Don't know. He goes down into his basement and looks at the picture, and he notices that's a scary face there, isn't it? Anyway, he notices apparently there's somebody with there's somebody with half a face. Apparently that actually was on the actual image. Somebody with half a face because of the way it's scanned. Obviously it glitched there or something. But he looks across and he ends up seeing somebody there as well with half a face. Look, there we go. And it's weird because in the film he has half a face, sort of, doesn't it? There we see Mr. Stewart there. So he worked on the Mars project. There we go. Do we see others? I think maybe some of the no, we can't because they're actually the real people, aren't they? Right, so phone rings. I think it's Mr. Stewart again. I think. Yes, because he's gone off to the police now. I think he's gone off to see Norma's dad. And he's saying, "Do you know where your husband's gone this morning?" He said, "No, I don't." Said, she's saying, "How do you know what we're doing?" "I've told you I have many employees." And she says she wants to meet him. And he said, he says, "I'm looking at you now. I want to meet you face to face." And he says, "I'm looking at you now. I'm in your back garden." And she looks out the window. She sees him staring at her. So this is where we learn that he can see through the eyes of his employees. So this freaks her out a bit. He just walks round the garden through the doors, staring at her in a creepy way. So anyway, he's talking away to her, and I can't remember what happens. Do they have a dialogue? No, I think that's it. And he knows he's scared her, I think, because he just kind of hangs up. Does she say anything? He's still there, and he hangs up. It's as though he's having second thoughts. So it's not like, although he's kind of, there's no bad guys in this film. I suppose you could say Mr. Stewart is kind of the bad guy, but he isn't really. He's just doing a job for his employers who he's not allowed to talk about. But you can see he's still part human at least, even though he's been given all these powers to control people's minds, and he hangs up as though he regrets it. He regrets what he's done. Because he actually likes them. We learn at the end he actually likes the Lewises, and he said, "I regret that you pushed the button." Anyway, here we go. We see that he's in the wind tunnel at Langley. We see there's a water thing there, a not very convincing CG water thing going on, because it's essentially a Stargate. We'll get to that. It's a transport thing. Right, so these Arthur's bosses, aren't they? His immediate superiors at NASA, at the Mars project, and we're learning from Martin Teague? I forgot his name. The NSA chap is there telling them the NSA needs more facilities. So that's what he's telling them. And he's not at liberty to disclose what they're doing, but they may need more NASA employees, and there's nothing they can do about it. Right, so Arthur's gone to see Norma's dad. What's his name? I can't bloody remember. Dick Burns. Unfortunate name, but anyway. Gone to see him. He's asked him about the license plate. Did you run a check on the license plate? He says, yes, it's a government plate. The NSA, I think he says. But I think that's what he says. Hang on, have I gone past it? Government issue license plate. There we go. License used by the NSA. So like, what? And then for some weird reason, he just starts showing him his case he's working on. Because Arthur's there, says, what's that? He's looking at photos on his desk of Mrs. Cairns, who got shot by her husband. There you go. And he just shows him, it's this, chest point blank range. And I don't know, is he going to be going to be joining the forensic department or something? Because he just takes him and shows him everything for some weird reason. He works for NASA. He's not a policeman, but he's showing him all this stuff for some bizarre reason. And next time we see him, they're at the crime scene. Don't know why. Anyway, right. So they're in a supermarket now. Is Norma and her mother? They're in a supermarket where apparently everything that they've found is period specific produce. I'll take their word for it. But anyway, right. So here we go. He's back at we're seeing him there. The reporter comes in. Is she being mind controlled now to get Norma to start investigating? Is this Mr. Seward? I keep calling him Seward. Is this Mr. Steward mind controlling this reporter to give Norma a nudge to do something that maybe his employers wouldn't want them to do? I don't know. But she's obviously being mind controlled because she gets a nosebleed. She comes in looking a bit agitated and telling him, the NSA's behind all this. Test subjects are all under 40. And she's telling him, and then she gives her a card. Go to the Richmond Library, follow this number, this call number, and then she collapses with a nosebleed, and they call an ambulance. So, that Seward, I keep calling him Seward, that Steward mind controlling her, because we saw him, didn't we, standing in the wind tunnel thing. So, I think it was. As I said, I think he regrets what's happened. I think it's kind of trying to help him get through this, but they push the button, so they're doomed. They are doomed. Anyway, so they call an ambulance to take her away. I can't remember the name of the character. I don't know. But anyway, she drops her mum off home. She's got errands to do, which means she's going to the Richmond Library. But before that, for some reason, Dick has taken Arthur to the crime scene. Does he think because he works for NASA he's like the brainiest person ever and can solve it? It's like Sherlock Holmes. Don't know. But I said, don't touch. But he sees, there we go, that there. He sees a photo. For some reason, there's a photo of Mr. Steward on Geoffrey Cairns' desk with his wife. I didn't notice that. But, no, it is him. Yes, it is him. Yeah. Because later on, we meet her. I forgot her name. She's got a weird name. Clymene, I don't know how to pronounce it. But and he says to her, "You're his wife." And I'm like thinking, how does he know? Then there's this photo, which I wasn't really paying attention to. I was looking at other stuff. I wasn't looking at that. Like this stuff here. What's going on here? I don't know. But anyway, this is the interesting thing. There's a Polaroid. That anyway, so he asked him to look up, Steward. Again, to check him out. Yes. So anyway, and then he nabs the there we go, the Polaroid Human Resource Exploitation Manual and a number, and he grabs it and shoves it in his pocket. Look, So that's why I took him to the crime scene, so he could grab that. Anyway. As we know, he's watching all the time. So I keep cutting back to him, I think. Oh, pardon me. Right, so we're at the library. Here we go. We're going to the Richmond Library, which was actually filmed in the Boston Library. But as I said, it was mostly filmed in Boston, but it's the Boston Library we've seen. This fella again. And we learned that everybody in this library now are employees of Mr. Stewart. And they're actually there. They're reading all the literature for the alien intelligence. So that's how they're learning about humans, I suppose. They're getting their employees to read for them. That's why he's got a big stack of books. Anyway, Norma's arrived. She's hunting down the number thing that she's got off the reporter lady. It turns out it's a film reel. Anyway, he's come now, and he's in the library. They're both in the library at the same time, oddly enough. But they don't meet each other. No, they don't. Are they the same library? I think they are. I'm not sure. Anyway, he's looking up a book, and then we see there's a book there. It should have been this whatever was supposed to be here. Abstract of the United States. I don't know. 1940, 1941. I don't know. Well, no, I don't know what was supposed to be there, because we got 40 there, 41 there. No others missing, is there? I've no idea. But there's a book there instead. The Lightning Book. Which apparently is a real book. I don't know. But there's something in it. There we go. There's a newspaper clipping. Can we read it? Is it big enough to read? See if we can get a good thing of it. See if I can read what it says. I like reading newspaper clippings from films. See what detail they've put in it. Right, I'm going to have to move forward a bit here. Right, here we go. I can't bloody read it. During celebrations after the successful landing of the first Viking spacecraft on Mars, lightning struck top NASA scientist Arlington Stewart while he was drinking champagne and don't know what that says. Filming the revelry from the top of the lunar lander something on the Langley campus. Stewart was struck in the face and suffered severe burns. This is the worst lightning injury I've ever seen, said Dr. Milk, a UBH burn unit specialist. It's absolutely amazing that he survived. Stewart is expected to remain hospitalised for several months. Turns out, by the way, that Stewart he healed really quickly. They don't understand how he healed really quickly. It's obviously the aliens in it, but he healed really quickly and presumably discharged himself and went about his business. Because Stewart was filming at the time, scientists have been studying the rare footage of a direct lightning hit on a human being. They have found that the Lichtenberg burn patterns which emerged around the lander at the time of the strike matched exactly the burn patterns on Arlington's body. The lander, a 200-foot steel structure used by astronauts to practice moon landings, is a simulated low-gravity environment, was closed temporarily. Plans to install a lightning rod on the... being encouraged to celebrate... Oh, hang on, it repeats itself there, doesn't it? So there we go. But that's the bit we needed to read. So there we go. Cool. Nobody would read that, would they? But, detail. Cool stuff. There we go. July 21st, 1976, and we learned that he left the hospital just 3 days later, didn't he? July 24th, it said at the beginning. Anyway, so he's found his thing they were looking for. She's found her thing. It's a reel of film. He's being followed now by Steve. Yes, I've got to go back again because he's walking down before they get there. We go. They're all looking at him. It's like him I'm on about. It's like Stephen King's like weird younger twin brother. It looks weird, doesn't it? Anyway, they all start following because they're all employees. Anyway, so she's found her thing, he's found his thing. They're all following him down the corridor. He's like, oh, I'd be like, can you just bugger off, please? But no, he's obviously terrified, I imagine. Right, so she's found the film reel. I think this is the film reel maybe that Arlington Stewart used. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. That he filmed. But we see the burn pattern. Well, it can't because we see Arlington Stewart on this film in a minute. But obviously that's the burn pattern from the lightning strike, apparently. They're following Arthur. They go through the library. Everybody's watching him. This is where he meets Clymene. You're his wife, he says. And I was like, how does he know? But then we saw that photo, didn't we? But anyway, she's still watching. And then we see some sort of conference. There we go. And some sort of conference going on to do with the Viking lander. And then we see Arlington Stewart before he was struck by lightning. And she just pauses it on that for quite a while. And I was expecting it to... Because it's film, and if you just pause film, it could burn through, couldn't it? The heat from the light, the lamp or whatever. I wanted it to burn through his cheek. I bet he had that idea, but he thought, we'll do that, but they didn't. I thought, and replicate what happened to him. But anyway. Anyway, she says this library is for employees only, and then we see there's the painting that he's got in his basement, which is of something. I don't know what it is of, but anyway. Right, so she takes him up some stairs and into this room where we see these little platforms. We saw them in the Mars project room where his lab is in the background. So they've been built there. So I'm guessing everything to do that Mr. Stewart has, all this technology that's indistinguishable from magic, such as his button unit and all that, were built by the Mars project team. But anyway, so we see these. It says you've got a choice to make, 1, 2, or 3. Make the right choice, everything will be cool. Make the wrong choice, eternal damnation. Anyway, she does a thing, and her nose starts bleeding. Meanwhile, she's been taken to see Mr. Stewart. Here we go. Right, so suddenly the things start filling up with weird water that's kind of not quite water, but a little bit watery. But it's kind of lumpy water, isn't it, I suppose you could say. That thick, viscous, watery stuff. Anyway, they're filling up these invisible boxes. And he does actually say, any sufficiently advanced technology indistinguishable from magic. He's saying that as that's happening. Anyway, so she's meeting with Stewart in the library. So they're both in the library at the same time, but they never cross paths. And he tells her about lightning being, a fraction of a second. Lightning can reach 28,000 degrees, which is 6 times or 5 times the temperature of the surface of the sun. And so she asks him, is that what happened to you? Were you struck by lightning? He said, yes. And there you go. And he says, what did you feel when you first saw me? When you first saw my face? And he says, pity. He said, and he says, pity. He says, no, I felt love because of my disfigurement. What happened to you was made me think that, things aren't all that bad for me. Anyway, meanwhile, he's still watching his boxes of water fill up. And he's got to make a choice because they're the transport unit. They're essentially Stargates, and they actually look a little bit like them as well. Anyway, are you being naughty, you? Bloody cat's starting, isn't she? She's on top of that box. I'm going to have to build that shelf unit to get rid of that box out. Yes, you. She's looking at me now. Yes. Never mind being gorgeous. It's dead naughty. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes, it says, I felt love for you and all that stuff. There we go. You felt love for me, yes, and all that. So she explains why. That she'll never feel sorry for herself again and all that stuff. Meanwhile, I think he's upstairs looking at this amazing technology. So he decides, says, right choice, I don't know, it'll be cool. Wrong choice, eternal damnation. He says, what if I refuse to choose? He says, eternal damnation, whatever that means. There you go. So he remembers 2. He does 2, which means something else in Britain, but 2. So he picks the second one. You have chosen gateway number 2. Anyway, So there you go, she's explaining that she felt overwhelming love, blah, 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 all that stuff. So he's going to go into the middle one. There we go, and he puts his finger in, much like James Spader in Stargate. Puts his finger in, and then it drags him in. In he goes, wah! And he goes through the Stargate, because essentially that's what it is, isn't it? Look. Like that. And now there's a bit, there's a bit that happens later that I'm thinking, should that bit have been after this? I'm not sure, but anyway. But anyway, so he goes through this, the light. Is this the light that Dana, whatever she was, Sarah, whatever she was called, told him about? Dunno. But you can see weird patterns and stuff going on. And anyway, I missed a bit. Sorry, missed a bit. Go back again. Right. So there we go. So it feels kind of sad. There's Mr. Stewart. Because I said he likes them. He likes Norma and Arthur. And later on he tells them, "I'm sorry you pushed the button." He says, "Take my hand, Norma." She takes his hand and she just passes out instantly. So that's obviously another one of his powers. Then he does his Stargate thing, and then we cut to Norma on her bed at home, asleep apparently. She opens her eyes, and she looks up and sees Arthur floating above the bed in a block of water. She's like, "What are the?" She goes up and we don't actually see him. Is he going to show him? For Pete's sake. There we go. Like that. "Oh, I'm floating above the bed in a block of water." Because technology, magic, etc. And she touches it, and then she shouldn't have touched it because she got to roll out the way quickly. Whoosh, it dissolves and fills their house with water. So that's basically carpet in the bed and everything ruined, isn't it? All goes down the stairs and everywhere. And the kid comes running up and says, "What the bloody hell's going on here?" We also learn, he says, does Walter, that Norma drove home in her car. And he said she was like a zombie. She just came in, didn't speak to him, and went upstairs. Obviously under the control of Mr. Stewart. But anyway, they're mopping up and they've got buckets and stuff and all that. He needs a drink. So he's off for his JD. He sees something. What does he? Oh, he's looking at his own reflection. Look in the mirror. That's something that Dana told him, isn't it? Look in the mirror. Anywho, right, so the NSA chap is talking to the NASA chap, telling them a bit about it, what's going on. He was struck while standing on this platform, and he's started building stuff, and now he's come back from the dead, and he's in control of things, and we see that we've got these weird displays going on for some reason. I'm not really... It's showing things as though that control places. I've no idea, but something to do with what's going on with the experiment, that the inscrutable aliens that we never see, or other life forms, or the interdimensional, wherever they're from, or the Martians, I don't know, but something to do with sections. The Earth has been parcelled up, hasn't it, into these different areas. But anyway. Right, so what's happening now? Is this the actual wedding? Yes, they're at the actual wedding now of her sister and her rich fiancé. So he's having a drink. We see they're being watched again by more employees. They're everywhere. Right, we're back at Langley. And we see more $1 million things getting ready. More button units ready to go out. So how many are they doing this with? Don't know. But anyway, it says, "What's with the boxes?" This is Mr. Teague again. Says, "What's with all the boxes?" And he says, "Well, everything's a box. You know, your house is a box that you live in. Your car is a box with wheels. And you go about your lives. You go to work in a box. And then you live your lives. And then you end up in the ultimate box where you're put in the ground and, pardon me, to decompose. Life's all about boxes." He says, "Well, that's a bit depressing." He says, "Well, don't let it be depressing." Something like that, he says. What does he say? "Inevitably wither, then you die. And it was placed in the ultimate box to slowly decompose." It's quite depressing when you think of it that way. He says, "Don't think of it that way." Anyway, he asks about the boxes, the button units, and he says, "What is the point of the test?" He says, "Well, the point of the test is for them not to press the button." He says, "And if enough of you don't press the button, the experiment ends." So basically, we win. If we don't press the button, if enough people don't press the button, humanity is saved. But we're human and we're greedy and we all want $1 million, don't we? So I imagine everybody's pressed the button so far. But anyway, this is what he's saying. He submits the data to his employers, and after that, he doesn't know what will happen. He says they have a unique sense of humour. Your fate rests in their hands. One cannot say they're not without a bizarre sense of humour. Look at me. Anyway, so there we go. So that's what he tells him. Don't press the button. Meanwhile, there's a row of people. They're heading off to various places. When you walk into the light, you're going to feel your body submerged in the liquid. You will feel like you're drowning, but it'll pass. So they're all going to different places. Don't know where they're going. We see at the front of the line is Dana. We see her in a bit. There she is. So they're sending her back to Boston. Or she's going to another galaxy. Don't know. But all these people are going somewhere. Don't know where. What was that? What were he saying there? Where are you sending it? Oh, no, it's telling us now. You're sending. I could have sworn Richard Kelly said they didn't know where they were going. Prepare the next test in Massachusetts. That's fair enough. They're going to Massachusetts. You are being really naughty. Yes, you know you're being naughty, don't you? She didn't, that cat of mine. She's so naughty. Here we go. So it's telling us all about it. If human beings are unable or unwilling to sacrifice individual desires for the greater good of your species, you will have no chance for survival, and my employers will be compelled to expedite your extinction. Bit like Day the Earth Stood Still, isn't it? Your planet will be burned to a cinder, or something like that. Whatever. Anyway, so off he goes. Right, so they're having a little dance. Because they love each other. That's the point of this film. You know, they're always, no matter what they go through, they're always in love with each other. Oh, she's asking him about what were it like, you know, when he travelled through the water thing. And he says it were like going in between worlds. He says it were like a light, and it were not like here or anywhere else. It were like somewhere in between, or somewhere like that. There you go. And it was like an amazing experience. Like the afterlife, I'm guessing he's saying, heaven. I don't know. It was something he can't comprehend. He says he can't explain it, what it was like. Meanwhile, we've got another employee watching. With another, I've missed it. With another face that looks familiar, but anyway. Walter's sat there being bored. Arthur comes out, says, "I'm going to be sick," and he goes running out. Did they put something in his drink to make him sick? I don't know, but he goes running out. But he comes across Geoffrey Cairns, who puts a gun to his head. Says, "Come with me. I'm going to tell you all about it." He drives off with Geoffrey Cairns, and Walter goes out looking for him. And she goes out looking for Walter, and then she sees Walter get grabbed by some men on a bridge. There we go. They grab Walter, take him away. Remember, Geoffrey Cairns' daughter also got abducted. Remember, they were on the phone saying that they took her and drove away. They've grabbed his son, taken him away. And then they get... hang on, I've missed it, have I? Yes, and they also get... there we go. They also get Norma with some, I presume, chloroform or something. Anyway, so he's off somewhere. Is he off to Massachusetts? I don't know. Is he going to Massachusetts? I don't know where he's going. I know where he ends up. I don't know where he's going. He's going to Norma and Arthur's house. God, I cannot remember his name. Anyway, so Arthur is in the car with Geoffrey Cairns, and Geoffrey Cairns is showing him I forgot what they call it now. The manual that were on the photo. This is where he's telling him about frontal lobe hemorrhaging. It's his weakness. He hasn't figured out how to get in the heads without them noticing. And anyway, so he's in control of everybody at Langley and all that. He's gone to the motel. And they've got Walter there, and they're going to transport him to wherever. In the pool of CG water. Right. So they say, I know where they're taking your son. It's a motel off I-95. It just happened to be where Dana was staying. He's looking in the manual now. There we go. See the 3 columns of water. It does explain here. Test subject must water coffin triptych. Test subject must choose between 3 gateway paths. Right. Test subject is submerged in, what is it? Sodium hydroxide. What's HCl? I don't know. Hydrogen chloride. I don't know. But it's not a capital C, is it? Barrier during analysis period of 60 minutes. Oh, I actually said when they were talking to Norma when they were dancing, he said he lost an hour. He said, it took me an hour to get home or something. Gateway transit analysis will determine fate of test subjects. So who's doing the analysis? Is it Stewart or is it the aliens? Don't know. But anyway, so there it is. There we go. Human Resource Exploitation Manual. What does CBT stand for? Don't know. But yeah. He says, who pressed the button? He says it was my wife. He says, yeah, mine too. And Richard Kelly said, maybe they should have had it where, it was Jeffrey Cairns that pushed the button. But there's got to be reasons why they're picking the women in this case. But anyway. Because if he'd pressed the button, he would be the one with a gunshot to his heart. Because it's whoever presses the button is going to die, basically. Spoilers. Anyway, they're driving away. They're not looking where they're going because they nearly run over Santa. Santa we saw earlier, ringing his bell. And I thought Santa were going to get run over. I thought something was going to come out of nowhere and run over Santa. But it doesn't. Because they get hit by a snowplow. And Cairns is killed. Is that what it stands for? You've just Googled that, haven't you? Cognitive behavioural therapy. Had a U for y'all. Anyway, where were we? Cairns has been killed, but Arthur hasn't. There's actually a scene at the film. We'll get to that in a minute. Right, so we're back at the motel. They've got to go now to. They're going to Arthur's house. Well, Steward's going to Arthur's house. At the crash scene, we see Cairns is dead. Said that no sign of anybody else. Said, was he alone? So it's Arthur's father-in-law. Dick is there. So there's nobody else in the car with him. I think they filmed the scene where some employees came and grabbed Arthur and dragged him off into the woods. But they decided not to keep that in for some reason. I don't know. But we don't know what's happened to Arthur. But we're going to find out in a minute. And it's a bit weird and I don't get it. But anyway. Yes, then suddenly we cut to Langley Research Centre, which is, the real place. There's lightning going on. In a minute. Well, there is, honest. Lightning going on. I think he's been told all about it now as Arthur's boss. So is he an employee now? Is he part of it? I'm guessing so. But anyway, the door's open. Lightning's going off. He's going to show the lightning's going off. We learn it's not natural lightning, I'm guessing. But the door opens. There's all lights inside, and Arthur emerges for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. He just comes out looking all weird. And this is why I think should this have happened after the library part? But they put the bit in between with him in the cube of water above the bed. Where did he go? How did he end up emerging at Langley? Because the deleted scene, they just dragged him off into the woods. Apparently, according to Richard Kelly, and they didn't tell us what happened to him. I don't know, but it's obviously some sort of transport thing. I don't know. I don't know what it represents. But he's changed, apparently. There we go. He falls to his knees. Has he seen God? Is that what it's supposed to be? Has he seen the face of God or something? I don't know. In quotes, God. Why does God need a starship? That sort of thing. I don't know. But anyway, they drag him off. And his boss is telling him, Arthur, anything you do now will have greater ramifications than you can possibly fathom. It's too late now. He's pressed the button, hasn't it, basically? It's not to do with... He's failed the test, hasn't it? Well, his wife failed it for him because she pushed the button. Anyway, right, so they dropped off at home. Here they are. They're kind of all weird. Look, they've got her and drop them off at home. And they find stewards there waiting for them. Remember that the son had been grabbed as well. Don't forget, Walter had been grabbed. And he's there waiting for him. This is where he says, he says, I want you to know he has the utmost respect for him, and he does actually like him, and he's just very sorry that they pushed the button. But he says they've got two choices. She's been dead naughty, is my cat. Do you want to go out? She's not listening to me now. Anyway, never mind. Where were we? So you've got two choices. You can either... by the way, your son is safe, but... does he say it now? What happens next? All right, your son is safe, so where is he? He's in a safe place or whatever. And we learn that he has had two of his senses taken from him. He can't see and he can't hear anymore, so he's blind and deaf. And they say they've got two choices now. They can keep the $1 million and carry on with their lives, but their son will be blind and deaf for the rest of his life. And they have to learn to live with that. And he gets a gun out. There we go. There we see his son wakes up. He's in a bathtub because it's water, I suppose. Gets a gun out, puts it on the table. There's one bullet in that gun. Arthur has got to take the gun and shoot his wife through the heart. So he says, this is obviously the choice that will put to Jeffrey Cairns, isn't it? Got to shoot his wife through the heart. And he says, as soon as the spirit leaves her body, again, another supernatural element, I suppose, her son sight and hearing will be restored. But obviously Arthur will have to pay the consequences or whatever. But they said, and then the $1 million will be put in a trust fund or whatever. No, what they call it, an interest accruing account or something like that. And he will be given it at the age of 18. So they're the two choices. They've got an interest-bearing account, and he will be given it when he's 18. And she's saying, let me kill myself. Arthur's got nothing to do with this. There's no the rules. He's got to shoot you. He's realising, Walter, that he can't see and he can't hear. Which would be freaky, wouldn't it? It would be awful. Anyway, so off he goes. He's leaving. Alright, and Arthur aims the gun at Steward and he says, kill me if you like, but your son had stayed deaf and blind forever. And if you kill me, my employers will just choose somebody else. He says, I don't know about this movie. Like parts, other parts, not so much. I love this film. I think it's amazing. It's not easy to explain though. But anyway, so and you will go to prison for the murder of Arlington Steward. So obviously they decide not to shoot him, and off he goes. Walter gets out of the bathtub. And says, your son is locked in the upstairs bathroom. So they must have a downstairs bathroom as well. So she's all crying and she's all sad and that. Oh, she says something about it. What does she say? I can't remember. Oh, that's it. Can I be forgiven? And he gives her words of comfort from Jean-Paul Sartre. Don't ask me what. I don't know. I can't remember. But does it say somewhere? Oh, there we go. 2 ways to enter the final chamber. Free or not free. The choice is ours. So there, the words of comfort he gives her. But, she wants to go out. You want to go out? I'll just go let the cat out, and then we're near the end of the film. Don't worry. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Bloody cats, eh? Blooming animals. What they're like, eh? Right, where were we? He's got out of the bath and he obviously doesn't know where he is or what's going on. So off he goes and he just says sorry and all that because he does like them. But, they press the button at the end of the day. Right, so they go running upstairs. They're banging on the door. They can't get in because it's locked. And all that. So, they've got to kill her to restore his son. So they obviously did the same thing with Jeffrey Carnes' daughter. She was obviously, made blind and deaf. So Jeffrey Carnes shot his wife. But instead of hanging about like he's supposed to do, he ran, which he wasn't supposed to do. But anyway. So here they are, all worrying about what's going to happen. And so it's all very sad. They go downstairs and they all embrace and all that. Love you loads and all that. Love you 3,000 and all that stuff. Justin says, for me, I don't like lose choice movies. Too close to reality, I guess, for me. But if you're really cool, it's not bad. It's not a super happy film, but I don't think it's really lose. It's, I don't know. It's as I said, it's about the consequences of the choices you make. I suppose rushing into things, but they only had 24 hours. They did wait to the last 15 minutes of those 24 hours, but yeah. Yes, it's about the choices. But anyway, but anyway, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. I'm gonna have to see what it is now. Just bear with me. I've got to open up YouTube to see what the super sticker is. Oh, tired. Oh, where are we? There we go. Right, super sticker from Justin, thank you. It's Pussycat, I think. Or is it a fox, or whatever. Or is it a corgi? I don't know, but I don't know. Is it doing a thumbs up? I don't know, it's doing something. It's going, anyway, thank you. Thank you, that's hugely appreciated. Anyway, yeah, so they're all like, nothing to regret in this life, and we've lived together. It's all quite sad, but I won't get emotional. I do get emotional really easily, don't I, with a lot of films, particularly when there's, love is involved or friendship and stuff like that. That sets me off. But for some reason, this didn't, and I thought it might, but it didn't. But anyway, but he shoots her. Yes, but not yet, because somebody else has been given the choice. They sat with a box. Somebody that they don't know. Have we seen these people in the film? I haven't noticed. It didn't say, did Richard Kelly in the commentary, if we'd seen these earlier in the film. I don't know if we did or not. I bet we did. I bet they've been in the background or something somewhere. But anyway, she presses the button. It's the wife again, by the way. And I think at this point in the commentary, Richard Kelly was saying, I don't know why we just had to pick the wives all the time doing it. So maybe for the last one we should have had the husband push it, but they never really thought of. They just thought the wives do it all the time for no reason, but just thought they did. So she presses it. She presses the button. They're still doing their stuff. Don't know. These aliens, can they predict the future? I don't know, but she presses the button. There we go. Bang. And as she presses the button, he shoots a gunshot. There we go. So what is the connection between them shooting the gun and her pressing the button? Cause and effect? Does pressing the button make him pull the trigger? Or does him pulling the trigger make them press the button? Or is it just, does it all happen at the same time? Are the aliens controlling that? Or did they just predict it? I don't know. As I said, it's all ambiguous and up in the air. which is sometimes good. Sometimes I don't like it when it's a bit too abstract. But I think it works in this film for me anyway. So they press the button. She looks a bit like Hayley Atwell, doesn't she? A little bit, but not much. So there you go. She dies. There we go. And they get a phone call. There's the 911 lady. Not 911, sorry. 911 lady. It's always her, isn't it? She's never off duty. Pardon me. Saying that though, it's always at 5 o'clock, isn't it? Or thereabouts. Seems to be. Somebody's reported a gunshot. So the police are on the way. There we go. Doorbell rings. Alright, she's meeting Mr. Stewart. Police are going to arrive. Walter's got his eyesight and vision back. Talking to him through the door. Because the police have arrived. So, hands up. Back away from the door. So anyway, suddenly, not only the police have arrived, the special forces chaps have arrived as well. And people with lanyards on. So, and the police hand over Arthur to the special forces chaps. These are obviously Stewart's employees, and they uncuff him. They did put him in cuffs, and they uncuff him and take him away. And there we go. And he's been to see these other new couple. He's taken the box back, the button unit, be reprogrammed to somebody else. It's in the same area, isn't it? But obviously it's somebody they don't know. Because it's snowy. A bit more snowy, though, than it is in... it's a bit more snowy than it is in Richmond. So is it in Richmond or is it somewhere else that's had a bit more snow? But anyway. Right, so anyway, Arthur's boss is telling him that, he'll be looked after and Walter will be looked after and all that stuff. So he's not going to go to prison. According to Richard Kelly, he's not going to go to prison, is Arthur. The... Stewart and his employees are going to look after him and Walter for the rest of their lives, so they're going to be fine. So that is kind of a happy ending. It just cost the life of his wife, but at least Walter's got his vision and hearing back. And they drive off. There he goes, looking at Walter from the back. Walter's up there in the window. There we go. Somebody's behind him. Is it his granddad? Yes, it is. I think it's his granddad, isn't it? Yes, it is. And we get a last view of Stewart. He does a little nod of his cap. There we go. Richard Kelly said to Walter, even though he's not there, he's somewhere else. But and that's the end. That's the end of the film. Justy says, "I'm an emotional person," but that's good. I know I am. Lose, I stand by it. Yes, fair enough. Sorry, my friend. It's okay. It is kind of lose, but not quite. I don't know. It's near. It's a depressing ending. They shouldn't have pressed the button. That's the point. And he says in the film, doesn't he? He says the point of the experiment is for enough people to not press the button. Humanity will be saved. I don't know how long the experiment's going to go on for before the aliens think they've no chance and just destroy the Earth. Anyway, Wingray says maybe she should have turned into a statue instead of being shot. I'm trying to think of the reference now. Cameron Diaz. I'm trying to think. Has she turned into a statue in something? I have no idea. Not a bad movie. I think it's great. I think it's a great movie. I do. But anyway, it's the end. It's the end of that, of Thingamabob. The Box, as I said, based on the short story, which I forgot the name of, Button, which you can, hang on, let me get rid of this, which you can read on the internet. I've put the link in the description. Where have I put it? I've got it here somewhere. There it is. Hang on, let me get rid of my book. You don't sell me bookmarks, my Netflix and YouTube bookmarks. Where is it? Hi, bookmark bar. There we go. Add to stage. There we go. Nothing to do with Diaz. Was a Strange New Worlds finale reference. Yes, he turned into it. Did Battelle in a similar way to this, with inscrutable aliens, they changed Battelle into a protective force or angel or whatever, I was thinking Batel's name is kind of an angelic name, isn't it? Bat-El. A lot of angels in the Bible, their names end with L, don't they? Gabriel, Michael, etc. Azrael. But she became Bat-El. She were an angel. But anyway, that's the thingy. I was thinking Queen of the Damned. Anyway, here it is. I put the link in the description. It's a JPEG. You can read the short story. It's not very long. What is it? About 9 pages, something like that. Yeah, 9 pages. Not very long at all. It's an interesting read. As I said, it doesn't go into the detail that the film does. But they just basically they get the thing. They're in New York, by the way. They're nothing to do with NASA or anything like that. They're just in an apartment in New York. Mr. Steward doesn't have half his face burnt off. He just delivers the box. And they talk about should they push the button. You know, who will die? Will it be somebody in China or Congo or whatever? She pushes the button while her husband's out at work. And then she gets a phone call that her husband, spoilers, in case you know, whatever, that her husband's been killed in a train crash or something. And she gets $50,000. So the $50,000 she gets, it says somewhere, there we go, is actually not from Mr. Steward. She gets it from Arthur's insurance policy because he gets a $25,000 with a double indemnity. But and at the end, she breaks open the box and finds that there's nothing inside. She said, "You said it was somebody who wouldn't know." And the last line is, "Do you really think you knew your husband?" Bit of a crappy ending, wasn't it? But anyway. So there you go. You can read that. That's on the internet. I've put that link in the description. I've also put the link in for the you can see it on YouTube, the Twilight Zone episode, which is okay, but the characters are awful. The characters are particularly Norma. She's a terrible character, but it's only 20 minutes. It's still interesting to watch, but it's not as good. That Arthur's a bit of an idiot in it, and they're just rowing all the time, and they're not wealthy, and but it does have a good ending. I'll say that. But it just ends where she's pressed the button. She's pressed the button. Arthur's there, so he doesn't die. By the way, they don't say that she's going to die or anything. She's pressed the button, and he just takes the box and says, "It will be reprogrammed, and we'll go to somebody who you don't know." Dun dun dun, and then it ends. So yeah, it's worth a watch. Links in the description for that. Anyway, right. So there we go. So that's The Box. Great film. Julian, who the hell is Julian? Justin, 34, would disagree. He thinks it's not a bad film, but it's not his cup of tea, is it? Which is fair enough. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I think Richard Kelly is one of those directors, isn't he, that you either love or hate. Not everybody liked Donnie Darko, did they? But I thought we're all right. I didn't like Southland Tales, though, I must admit. But anyway, so there we go. That's it. That's all done and dusted. I think The Box, I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's a great film. I love it. I can watch it over and over again. And probably most for the performances. And Frank Langella is hypnotic in it. I think he is. I think he should have won umpteen awards. Did he win any awards? I don't know. Did it win out? Awards. The film was nominated at the 8th Visual Effects Society Awards. In the category of Outstanding Supporting Visual Effects in a Feature Motion Picture, but lost to Sherlock Holmes. So didn't win any awards either. Didn't even get nominated for any Oscars. Unbelievable. Frank Langella, for God's sake. Anyway. Right, we're all done and dusted. We'll leave it there for another week. What's coming up next? I don't know, I haven't decided yet, have I? The poll is still open. I'll leave it open until Sunday for what's going to be next Magnificent Monday's outing. You've got your choices. Hang on, let me find it. Got your choices. You can choose The Rock, or you can choose Mars Attacks, or AI, artificial intelligence, or inner space. That's the poll for next Monday's, or this Monday's, Magnificent Mondays. Mars Attacks is in the lead. So we will see what happens, won't we? Wingray says, I mean, this movie was technically Mars Attacks. Sort of, maybe. Don't know. Don't know where the aliens were from. But it's just coincidence that it was the Viking lander signal that they piggybacked on or whatever. I don't know. But anyway. Justin says it was shot well and acted well, just not my type of story. Still good. I only hate two films, Titanic and the movie Very Bad Things. I've not seen that one. I think you mentioned that before, haven't you? I know you've mentioned you don't like Titanic. But I've not seen Very Bad Things. Excuse me. I don't know if there's any films I hate. I didn't like The Avengers. Not the MCU Avengers. The Avengers with Ray Fiennes and Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman. That bloody awful. Sean Connery. Terrible film, that. But anyway. Right, so we'll leave it there. Titanic 2 is a better film. I've not seen that. I know there is one. It's is it like an asylum film? I think it is, isn't it? I think it is. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Win Grace and Justin. Thanks, Justin, for the super sticker. Did anybody else pop in? Oh, Adam Gamer didn't pop in because I forgot him last time, didn't I? I forgot to thank him last time. So apologies to Adam Gamer for missing you out last time in the thanks. But no, thanks to Win Grace and Justin and Stream Boo over on Twitch. I better check on. Hang on, before we do, have we got any trivia from IMDb to read out? Let's have a look. I'm just looking through, see if there's anything I haven't mentioned, but not really, no. I think I've mentioned most of the stuff. About autobiographical with his parents and stuff. And his dad appears in it. Not really. Oh, here we go. The painting, the library mural. The library mural. That painting that he's got in his basement with the any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The painting is Galahad being led to the seat perilous by Edwin Austin Abbey. Right, I have no idea what significance that has. I don't know, but anyway. I'm just seeing if there's... the film was not screened for critics. I wonder why. Yeah, anyway, whatever. Right, no, nothing there. Right, so we'll leave it there. Sean was good in that, though, and about the Avengers. But that was a bad movie. It's Apollo 13 on IMAX. I think you did say you were going to go see it. Yeah. Bet that was good. Bet that was, particularly the launch scene. I bet that was good on IMAX. We haven't got an IMAX screen. Very close. No, we have. Yes, there's one in Bradford, isn't there? At the Museum of Photography. If that's still going, I don't know. I've never been to a proper IMAX thing. I've been to the fake one. That they have the local multiplex. They have like fake IMAX, don't they, which isn't IMAX. But anyway. So one of the Jurassic Worlds there in IMAX. It was rubbish. It wasn't. They stopped doing the remastered Trek movies on the big screen. Did they start doing them? I don't know. I didn't even know they'd done them. It was good. Some of the space part had me spinning. Well, yeah. So the first two, and they were magical. Oh, did they re-release them? I didn't know they'd re-released them. Maybe they will eventually. We'll see. I'm going to do something, wasn't I? Oh, yes. I was checking on Rumble, wasn't I? So just bear with me. While I get my bookmarks back that I hid. Show bookmarks bar. Come on, Rumble, where are you? There you are. Anybody chatting in Rumble? No, of course they're not, because they very rarely do. Right, so we're done and dusted. We'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So, as I said, Mondays, Magnificent Mondays, will be one of the 4 films I mentioned earlier. Go and vote in the poll, and I'll do that film on Monday. And next Friday's Appointment with Fear, I haven't decided. Have we got any? No, I haven't got anything out that we can do, but never mind. On Halloween this year falls on a Friday. October 31st falls on a Friday. So we'll be doing a watch party of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So that should be fun. We'll just sit and watch that. If you've got your own copy, you can watch along. Obviously, I can't just play it. You know, I'll have it on screen, but it'll be like blurred and stuff, with overlays, and so I don't get a copyright claim. But if you've got your own copy, you can watch that along on Halloween night. But that's a month and a half off, isn't it? Right. So we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Don't have nightmares. Look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.